ladies and gentlemen, if they're going to use the 2009 Las Vegas Metropolitan Police report statement by Keefe D admitting to everything in court, then there's another part in that same statement that mentions that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was in the entourage the night after the shots were fired and before the shots were fired in the same 2009 statement, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, it's done got real funky and murky, man. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Life is like some cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy Delray Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, what I have for you today is another bombshell, if you will. So, as we know in relation to the Tupac Shakur murder trial, we know for a fact they will be using the 2009 statement given by Keefe D to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and where Keefe D confesses to his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur. We know for a fact that will be used. But there was one part of the interview that nobody's ever really truly honestly focused on, and that's this. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department surreptitiously recorded interview, page 55, right? Statement of Dwayne Keefe Davis. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the answer to the question that was being asked on page 54, I just have this page right here, which this is part of the statement from which I understand from 2009 that they recorded with Keefe D and him telling them everything that happened. This is after the shots were fired, right? Answer, just like a couple of cars behind or right behind Reggie, the dude Alexander, pretty boy dude, yeah, Frank Alexander. And the question was Frank Alexander, and the answer from Keefe D was yeah. The question was, they were in the entourage somewhere, and Keefe D said, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is in 2009, in around 2009. This is not 2025. Keefe D is saying that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was somewhere in the entourage. The truthfulness to that statement, I don't know, right? But this is not 2025. This is not the statement that he's offering up now, saying that, you know, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. is the orchestrator, the mastermind, and so on and so forth, right? More importantly, Suge Knight just recently said on the Art of Dialogue that what? That the person that was responsible for shooting in the BMW from wherever, the white Cadillac or whatever, the person who was responsible for shooting worked for Death Row. As to the validity, as to the truthfulness of that statement, I can't verify, right? But I do find this very interesting because this piece of paper is from back then. This piece of paper basically is a surreptitiously recorded interview, as you see, by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. It has the event number and the statement of Dwayne Keefe Davis, right? And the answer is, just like a couple of cars behind or right behind Reggie, the dude Alexander, he said, pretty boys dude. And the question, yeah, Frank Alexander? Keefe D says, yeah. And the question, they were in the entourage somewhere? Keefe D says, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2009. Right? And Keefe D mentioned Reggie's name and seeing him somewhere or being somewhere in the entourage and not at Club 662. It has been Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s position that he was at Club 662. No one other than Reggie has been able to say that from that perspective. That we know that Michael Moore said that they were ready to go to the hospital, but Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. never mentioned Michael Moore until recently, until Suge Knight said that Reggie did not come to his emergency room and that Suge didn't tell Reggie anything about who allegedly fired the shots. Reggie lied about that and saying that Suge Knight told him shortly after Reggie said he visited his emergency room, that Suge Knight told him that it was Orlando and them. Suge Knight said that Reggie was lying. He did not tell him that, right? But in this interview right here from 2009, Dwayne Keefe Davis basically said, just like a couple of cars behind or right behind him, Reggie, the dude Alexander, pretty boy dude, question, yeah, Frank Alexander? Keefe D answer, yeah. Question, they were in the entourage somewhere? Answer, yeah. And the investigator now says what? Okie dokie. But as far as you know, nobody shot at you. Nobody threw anything at you. Nobody did anything towards you. The answer, no, not that I recall. The investigator question, okay, you make your right turn. Now, this right turn right here is being made after the shooting because they're going down Flamingo, which is straight down, and the right turn that they made was on Koval, right? So it says, okay, you make your right-hand turn. Keefe D answered, yeah. Where? Okay. Okay. He said, I'll get to this in a minute. What happened then? You make your right-hand turn. Does anybody say anything? Do you do anything at that right? At the time? Keefe D says, yeah, some girls got to chasing us. I'm sorry? Answer, some girls got to chasing us. You remember what you were driving, or what they were driving, or were they what he said? Or were they on foot, right? Now, so he asked him, do you remember what they were driving, or were they on foot? And we know about the young ladies because the young ladies had testified basically that that they were driving, I think, a Sebring or something like that, and those were the girls that Tupac were talking to. There were two girls in a car, and Keefe D basically saying that the two girls were behind them, but I don't think the two girls were trying to chase behind them. I think that they were scared from that perspective, and they made that turn too after Keefe D made that turn, I think, trying to get away from that perspective. That was also testimony when the situation first happened. So now when you see this, you know for a fact that Keefe D mentioned Reggie the Rat Wright Jr.'s name in 2009. Like I told you, Suge Knight just said that the person who he saw shoot the shots worked for Death Row. Don't know how true that is. Don't know how false that is. But more importantly than that, this statement here by Keefe D. And so when you think about Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. going and testifying in front of the grand jury involving what he claimed was the atmosphere at that time in regards to what happened and or what for somebody who basically says that they weren't there, right? He knew an awfully lot about what happened. Think about that. He was the one that went and told his father about who allegedly did the shooting. How did he know that? He still wasn't able to explain how he knew that. He said that Suge told him. Suge said he didn't tell him. Then he changed the story and said that, oh, you know, when I went to the hospital, the homies was talking about it in the parking lot, right? That was another story that he had told after Suge called him out for lying. But this right here would explain it a little bit more clearer. Keefe D is now saying that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., what he said to answer, just like a couple of cars behind or right behind him, Reggie, the dude Alexander, pretty boy dude. The question, yeah, Frank Alexander, Keefe D, yeah. Question, they were in the entourage somewhere? Yeah. Keefe D is placing Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. not at Club 662, but somewhere in the entourage, and where Keefe D allegedly spotted him, right? So when the question was asked, well, how did Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. know anything about what was going on from that perspective and who did what? This would partially explain it. If this statement is true, this would partially explain how and why Reggie would know who did what. You understand what I'm saying? And so once again, we go back to the mastermind and the orchestrator. We still don't know. Listen, if this is in the statement like it says, then the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has some other investigating to do, because like I said, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. going and testifying in front of the grand jury doesn't, what's the name? And I'm sure this is partially where Keefe D and them are going to go, because they're going to use this statement in court. If they use this statement in court, you can't take a portion of what the statement is. You got to take the statement in totality. So when they go, so you mentioned that you seen Reggie the Rat Wright Jr., if they get up, Keefe D for his life, gets up on the stand, and he knows he's fighting for his life, and they ask Keefe D, they say, well, on page 55, they were asking you about, after the shooting, blah, blah, blah. Now, that's the reason why I don't think that the situation that Keefe D has placed himself in is a great one, because if you want to use this evidence, you got to cop to the murder. Right? You got to cop to the murder and saying, oh, Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. is the mastermind. For this statement to be used, right? Keefe D has to cop to the murder. So therein lies the conundrum with this statement right here, if it be true, right? And Keefe D being allowed to use this statement as part of trying to set up some kind of reasonable doubt theory involving him being involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur. So, but like I said, this is mind-blowing to me. This is like I said, you see it right here. You see it right here. And so what the Vegas police knew at that time, Keefe D making this statement at that time. So that's why I think that Keefe D's lawyer knows that, it's not really a good fight. I mean, he can put up a fight from the perspective of saying whatever they're saying, and they're saying, the investigator has people that will testify that Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was involved in the situation. But this right here is a powerful piece of evidence. But for this statement to be used in court, Keefe D would then have to admit that he was in that car. He would have to admit that he was in Vegas, because he is admitting it in this statement. You understand what I'm saying? They're asking, what did you do after you make the right turn? Did anybody throw anything? Anybody shoot at you? Anybody do anything like that? He's saying no, right? He's saying what? Who? Anybody chase after? He say the girls. What girls? And the girls, that was one of the statements. Like I said, the girls had gave that they, they had made the right turn on Koval also. So yeah, this is going to be interesting, man, because like I said, this piece of evidence right here, I mean, like I said, if Keefe D, admits to it, he would have to take some kind of deal, or basically change his story, and it would be done in some kind of deal. I don't really see, like I said, he mentions Reggie being part of the entourage. They were in the entourage somewhere, yeah. You know what I mean? As you see right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has just got more interesting by the day. So, tell me what you guys think down in the comments, because like I said, this right here to me is a bombshell. I didn't know anything about this. So, once again, your boy Delray, straight gang.